Hi and welcome to Watch It or Don't. Dan, Matt, Tom. Today we're reviewing Bridge of Spies. It is the latest movie from Steven Spielberg starring Tom Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
So the classic team up. They haven't been together since The Terminal, I think.
Yeah. Right.
But, you know, just classic American director, classic American actor, telling a classic American tale during the Cold War about he's an insurance lawyer. Tom Hanks plays an insurance lawyer who's tasked by the government to do two different tasks. One is to defend a Russian spy.
Mm-hmm. May or may not be a Russian spy.
In court.
Right.
The second is to go over to Berlin to negotiate an exchange of prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
The reason he's selected is because they kind of want a private citizen to keep it kind of vague of how they're negotiating.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the Cold War, the tension's so high that you can't have the governments interacting directly because, you know, someone says the wrong thing and pisses the wrong person off. Yeah. Boom, there goes the world.
So a lot of middlemen.
Yeah.
Not necessarily spies, just middlemen.
We should say this is a true story.
Yeah. Well, it's based on true events. I'm sure they fudged some of the things. They said that.
Steven Spielberg is kind of... He's kind of known for doing these kind of stories. He's very historically accurate, or at least somewhat accurate, dramas of these characters. He just recently did Lincoln. And I think he really succeeds at this one. He shows a historical time period that's very interesting. Yeah. The Cold War is, in general, is just interesting. Yeah. And maybe shows a different perspective that we haven't really seen before.
Well, I'd say for sure, speaking of that Cold War, we never really see East Berlin. We hear about it, but it's always like Russia and America, and then sometimes Cuba is the third one in most Cold War movies. But this was East Germany, well, East Berlin, I should say. I feel like I don't know of really any other.
No, I agree. It's not terribly common that we actually get to go into East Berlin for an extended period of time.
And we actually get to see that government. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's one of the bigger parts of this film.
Yeah.
Kind of one of the things that surprised me, it's not a terribly tense film. There's not a lot of build-up. It's kind of just letting the story unfold, and there's not really a better director to let a story unfold than Spielberg.
Right.
But even though there wasn't a ton of tension, it still felt like a interesting movie. You know, it still felt like you cared enough to find out the outcome, even though you were pretty sure what was going to happen.
Right.
I think that this is definitely Spielberg playing it safe.
Yeah.
It's definitely not bad. It's a good movie. I think it's almost a great movie. It's not monumental for him.
No.
You know, like it's not Schindler's List or even Munich. It's just a simple telling of a very cool historical story.
And then part of me feels like I don't want to do that, where it's like, oh, look at all these great movies you made. It's never going to be as good. So I don't want to know.
He's okay with it, I think.
I mean, mediocre Spielberg is still better
pretty
than
great.
a lot.
And when you pair him with Tom Hanks, who, really, I mean, he hasn't been in a lot recently, but this is another great performance.
Yeah, he's one of the most...
I liked it as much as in Saving Mr. Banks.
Oh, yeah.
Which is still the same kind of middle-aged
He is
role.
one of the most likable men on the face of the planet, though. So it's so easy for him to, you know, have his serious face and then crack a joke really quick and have that smile, and you instantly are with him, you know?
Right. And his character is kind of... He's a normal citizen, but he has kind of higher, loftier goals.
Yeah. Right.
And with a lesser actor, I feel like that would be like, oh, come on, you want to do all the... Like, he's too do-gooder, but it makes sense with him. It works.
Aside from Hanks, most of the cast is pretty much background, you know, character actors that you don't really recognize, or you recognize, but you don't know by name. And it was the perfect choice for this because, I mean, it very much focuses on Tom Hanks, but at the same time, all these actors who don't normally get starring roles, they play it perfectly. They don't overdo it. You know,
the character of the Russian spy, I think, is one of the highlights of the movie.
Oh yeah, he
does a good
favorite.
job.
I don't remember his actor's name. I've seen him in stuff before.
Right,
He's
exactly.
great.
You can Google it.
But you know, these guys have a much more subtle approach to things usually, and I mean, God bless character actors and stuff. But, I mean, they really do make or break a movie sometimes, you know. So it was well done here.
Yeah.
If I had one quibble with this movie, it might be that the pacing is a little off.
Yeah.
There is kind of, I mentioned, there are kind of two different stories. There's a beginning trial in the United States, and then it moves to Berlin, and it almost seems like two different movies. It works. It fits together.
Right.
It just... The pacing in the beginning is a little slow, and the ending might be a little long.
Yeah,
but that's minor
I mean,
stuff,
the movie is much better once we get to Berlin.
Right,
it gets more interesting. It is cool to see, you know, the recreation of. I mean, you get to see the Berlin Wall being built, which is not something I've ever seen before.
It's usually built in movies when you're already there.
Production design is top notch. I think this should be up for an Oscar for that for sure. costumes maybe too. It's
right,
really good.
Right.
Let's jump into ratings because I think we're all pretty much in agreement on this. Yeah. I'm giving this an 8.1 out of 10. Just a solid historical drama. If you like history, for sure see it. Even if you don't like history, this is something you can learn about. And it's cool time.
I like it. I'm kind of in the same boat you are. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. I really liked it. Great period piece. Tom Hanks knocks it out of the park. It's just good Spielberg.
Yeah, I'm not quite as into it as these guys are. I still like it. I'm giving it a good. It's very, very solid. Like we've all said, Spielberg and Tom Hanks are a winning combination. Mm-hmm. It's just the movie ran a little long, and there wasn't a ton that really sucked me in, but it was enjoyable to watch. I don't know if it's the must-see movie or anything. So
okay, well, would you say people should go see it in theaters right now, or would you wait?
You can wait. You can see it. It's okay either way.
Would you agree with that? Go see it or wait?
I think if you're into historical dramas, go see it. This is one of the better fall movies out there.
This definitely is the type of movie where I think you'll know whether or not you want to watch it.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you're deciding between Pan and Bridge of Spies, let's see Bridge of Spies. Anyway, we got to go. We're watching our jaunt. Be sure to subscribe for more content, and we'll see you next time.